The Body Shop connects you with the hottest fitness models in the world. Learn the backstage secrets that most successful bikini divas, fitness models, and bodybuilders use to dominate their competition and land on the covers of magazines. Only here at the Body Shop will we allow you to listen and talk to the best of the best in fitness competition. If you're passionate about bodybuilding and fitness, you have found your new home. All of us here at FTNS Radio would like to welcome you to the Body Shop. Body Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome your host, Andre Brick Sinclair.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Body Shop. Thank you for allowing the Body Shop and FTNS not only into your homes, but also into your airwaves. Only here at the Body Shop will you learn the backstage secrets that the most successful bikini divas, male models, bodybuilders from all around the world in any federation use to land on the covers of magazines and dominate and crush their competition. In the studio with me, I have the CEO, chairman of the board, and in my opinion, one of the best promoters of all time. Please welcome Mr. Brian Cannone.
Bricks, what's happening?
What's up, B? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right.
You doing all right?
Everything's all right.
Listen,
going
man.
On track?
Yeah.
Track, 4 weeks?
4 weeks away, baby.
Man.
That's it, man. Oakdale Theater.
Crazy, huh?
Tony Horton coming there.
Tony's killing it.
Hey, listen. I noticed Tony didn't want to have another contest with the bricks, though. All right? You know what I'm we just going to put that out there.
So
yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
You better watch it.
I ain't scared. The hell with that. I'm bricks. I ain't never scared. You know what I mean? Also, in the studio with me, I have who I consider to be a future WBFF Pro all the way from Massachusetts. Please welcome Mr. Ian Davio.
Thank you. Happy to be here, guys.
What's up, Ian? How you doing today, man?
Good.
Everything all right?
Pumped up, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm
you seem a bit nervous. I don't know why, man.
No.
You sure?
My hands are always cold.
Oh, okay. All right. I understand what it was, you know what I mean? I thought it was because, you know what I mean, you were sitting next to bricks, but all right. I understand.
Got a little warmer in here.
And ladies and gentlemen, more so for the ladies. Ladies, I'm talking to you right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch up the voice. I'm going to go into my sexy. If my producer will give me a little background music, I give this man a proper introduction.
Background music?
I need something sexy right now.
Dude,
Super producer Big Sean, I need something real sexy right now. All right?
Can you sing a little song?
Listen, I need an underbed of something real sexy right now. Let me hear it. Come on. You ain't got nothing for me?
You want to go on YouTube and find you sexy?
Damn. All right. Never mind. Here's what we going to do, okay? This is strictly for the ladies. Fellas, I'm sorry you don't like it. Go to hell. Here's what we going with this right here. All right. Please welcome to the Body Shop one of the most well-published male fitness models in the world. This man got into the industry a little less than 6 years ago. I have the background on this man. It was my pleasure and my distinct honor to announce this man as the new WBFF Male Model Pro. This man has a faith in God that is unwavering and unshaken. This man is very humble. He's been published on more magazines than I can count. A few to his credit: Reps Magazine, Maximum Fitness Magazine. He's been on the cover of Men's Workout. He's been on the cover of Exercise and Health, Muscle and Performance. There you go, that's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is very, very humble. This man is willing to share his experience with you. What the hell is that? Are you serious? How you gonna mess up my introduction? All right, damn. Okay.
I just went on YouTube and put sexy song.
I don't know what that was.
That's the first one that popped up.
Oh, man, that was what you put?
At least my picture was next to it.
Hey, man, that explains a lot. All right, here we go. In all seriousness,
your picture was there.
Please welcome to the Body Shop, WBFF Pro Male Model, I apologize, Mr. James Ellis. James, you there with me? Is he on? Is he on? James.
He is.
Hey, James, you there with me?
Yes, I am.
All right, all right. Hey, man, did you hear your introduction?
I did not.
You did not? Are you serious right now, James?
I'm serious.
All right, listen, I'm going to do it again. One, because we live, and two, because when you hear the playback, you'll understand why, okay? Brian, please don't give me nothing sexy like that again, okay? Because that was just horrible. All right. Here we go, baby. This is part 2. This is completely unscriptured. This is off the top because this is just what I do, okay? Are you ready? All right.
That's it.
This is strictly for the ladies. Fellas, I apologize, but if you listen closely, maybe you can aspire to be just like this man. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Here we go. Ladies, I have one of the most well-published male fitness models in the world calling in live to the body shop. This man is humble, 6.5 years in the industry, and has accomplished more than what most people for 12 years have accomplished. This man has an unwavering faith in God. This man has a deep-rooted belief and a deep-rooted drive to succeed. He's been on the covers of Reps magazine, Maximum Fitness. He's been on Men's Workout, Olympia. He's been on Exercise Health, Muscle and Performance. Too many for me to name. Please welcome to the body shop, Mr. James Ellis.
Hey.
There you go.
There he is.
I love it. Thanks for repeating that for me.
No problem, Blue Eyes. What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. You guys are joining me from a trip. I'm driving from San Diego to LA, so it's great to have some company.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll make that trip just a little bit more enjoyable, because here at the body shop, not only do I want to give information, but I love to entertain. So if you like to laugh, then we're going to have a great hour. What do you say?
I love laughing, man. I'm all about burning calories, right?
There it is, baby. There it is. There it is. Okay. Now, James, first question for you. When did you first fall in love with fitness?
Oh, wow. When did I first fall in love with fitness? That would have to be probably clear back in 3rd grade, if you can believe that. I started running cross country when I was in 3rd grade. My sisters were older than me, and they ran as well. So I would go out for a couple-mile run with them, when I was in 2nd grade, and I was all about doing the push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups. And so Dad wouldn't let me weight train until I was into high school. So he would say, you can do anything with your body weight, and that's all you can do. So I started into fitness in 3rd grade, believe it or not.
Wow. Now, were you under the assumption, or did you even know that one of the misconceptions would be that if you started working out at an early age, that it can actually stunt your growth?
That's exactly what Pop told me.
Now, do you believe that's true? Because I actually know how tall you really are.
Yeah. Well, I'm 5'10.5", and I'm not proof of it because I wasn't able to start lifting that early. So,
okay.
I believe I'm a little questionable about that logic, but yeah, exactly.
All right, now, James, I'm not sure if you remember who I am, but I know you know my voice. I actually announced you as the new WBFF Male Model Pro. One of the things that stood out to me about your physique when you actually walked on that stage was your abs. You look like you was a walk-in Photoshop.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, no, but in all honesty, though, man, I mean, the shape that you came in, the show with was simply inspiring. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I'm always first going to attribute it to the Lord. And a lot of people don't know this, and I'm going to go ahead and share this anyway. The first, I considered doing the show the year before that, competition's never really been my thing. I've never really, I competed back in college in some bodybuilding shows for the fun of it, but I've always been the person that's like, I don't want to step up on stage and for somebody to tell, to judge and say who's better than who and things like that. But I honestly, then the next year, I did not want to compete in the WBFF. I didn't want to compete at all. Like, I kicked and screamed, but I had people coming up to me and telling me, you know what, I believe the Lord is telling me that you're supposed to compete in the World Bodybuilding Fitness Federation World Championship. And I was like, no, I'm not, I don't want to compete. I don't want to step on that stage. You know, there might have been part of it, may have been fear. You know, there's some amazing dudes in that competition. I mean, Rob Riches, Obi Obadike, David Kimmerly, like, I mean, I could go on and on naming the guys that were in the fitness competition, you know, so there was definitely some fear there. I mean, some dudes I look up to, you know, and so, but at the same time, so I was kicking and screaming saying, you know what, God has not told me I'm supposed to compete, and so I'm not going to compete. And the more and more people kept coming up to me, I kid you not, saying, you know, I believe the Lord is telling me you're supposed to compete in this. So eventually, I quit kicking and screaming, and I said, all right, let's get down to this. I'm going to start dieting, and I'm going to do this thing.
Okay.
So, you know, I attribute it to the Lord. The Lord really, honestly, got me through the dieting. I feel like I don't feel like I struggled as much as some of the boys did that I was talking to on the phone as competition was coming up. They'd be like, man, I hate this diet. I'm hating life. And honestly, dude, when it came to that point in time, man, if I would ever start to feel that way, I would seek the word and I would seek strength in prayer. And so, you know, I made it through because of the Lord, and it wasn't as stressful because of the Lord. On top of that, you know, I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for God because, like I told you, I didn't want to compete.
Right.
And I did it because I did it out of obedience. And, you know, and God used it as an opportunity for me to pray with people backstage and to speak out about my faith. And there were tons of other Christians that were like, hey, you know, I think it's awesome how you're so outspoken and everything. And so I used it as that kind of an opportunity. And, you know, and when I ended up winning the competition, I don't know if you guys may or may not have seen it, but, you know, I took a knee right away. I prayed. And then when you guys took photos of the three of us, the top three, I had a cross in my pocket that I pulled out, held up, kissed it, and I pointed to the sky, you know, because it wasn't about me. That championship wasn't for me. It was for the glory of the Lord. And one other thing that I'll point that finger to is Michael Orr. You know, he was my diet and training coach, and he's incredible. Like, he's very scientific about diet and training, so he really pushed me to the next level, to levels I never, ever thought were possible. So those are two major people. Obviously, friends and family, my manager, Renee, my, you know, best friend, photographer, Noel Biganta. You know, it was about that kind of backing. I had a great team behind me.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of Noel Biganta, when he found out that I was going to be interviewing you, he actually told me a very interesting tidbit, and the fact that he only got into photography because he wanted to help you land the covers of magazines, and in turn you actually turned around and helped him become one of the most well-known published photographers that there is. So it goes back to that scripture, iron sharpens iron, which I find to be simply amazing. Now, my next question for you is this right here. During your win at the WBFF Championship, and I'm going to watch how I word things because I know a lot of WBFF athletes are listening to the Body Shop right now, and I thank them. I know Chairman Paul Dillette, he's listening right now, but
love that guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Paul's a funny guy. You know what I mean? We went out to Denny's a few times. You know, last time I was in in Toronto. Oh man, Paul's a great guy. But okay, you came out and you stood side by side with a great friend of yours in the industry, and that's Obi Obadike, who was the defending champ at the time.
Yeah.
How much did it mean to you to knock off the champion and be crowned the new champ?
You know, I'm not going to say necessarily how much it meant to me in terms of it was just quite honestly an honor. I'm going to put it that way. It was an honor to be standing on the same stage as Obi Obadike.
I like that.
To be standing on the same stage as Rob Riches and David Kimmerly, guys that I really, really honestly look up to. Guys that, sorry, my GPS is talking in the background.
Yeah, no, I hear it.
She's trying to interrupt me. These fellas, I mean, they've been on lots of covers. Rob Riches is one of the most conditioned dudes I've ever met in my life. When he dials in, honestly, you can match his build, but I'm not sure that you can beat his build. And that was my goal. I had a photo of Rob Riches on my wall saying, this is what I want to look like when I step on stage. Not to take the focus out of Obi, because Obi came in jack shredded too. And honestly, if I were to name it, to me, it would have come down to the three of us very tight. And I know that's not the way it ended up being, because it comes down to stage presence, and it comes down to, your marketability and things like that. But, Obi's a guy, I'm very happy that it ended up being first and second. And to be honest with you, had he won, I would have been so proud of him, because that's the guy that got me into this competition. Obi pushed me to compete in the WBFF. Obi called me and he said, I would love to have you on stage standing with me. And not only that, but Obi took it the second mile, and that's what we call in Christianity a second mile living. Mm-hmm. He took my hand and he said, let me show you, how to have good stage presence. Let me show you, the secrets of being on stage, how you can get attention of the judges, and I really cannot thank him enough. He's honestly a class act, and what he's done in the industry, to get the covers that he's gotten. I mean, I know a lot of people, some people, might have issues with him, but let's be honest, he's a genius. He is a genius in this industry, and that's why Obi is where he's at. And the reality of it is, and I'm learning this, not everybody's going to like you. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot of people that don't like me. There's a lot of people that start rumors about me. So I'm here to tell you guys in the WBFF, I'm here to tell everybody, Obi's a class act, and I love the guy, And, the same with Rob. I can't talk about the WBFF and the classy people that are on that stage. So, yes, it meant the world to me to stand on stage next to Obi. It both was a celebration to win, but also something that, I felt bad at the same time, because I wanted both Obi and I to leave with that trophy.
Right. You know what? That was actually very nicely said. It seemed to be extremely heartfelt and honest. There was something that you touched on that Bricks needs to build off of, and that is the fact that you did mention that everybody in this industry is not going to like you, despite your successes or what type of person that you are. Brian and myself have been through that. We've had people that have talked bad about us. They've ran our names through the mud, and we've never done anything to them. What we do? We just shake it off and we keep it moving, because at the end of the day, not everybody is gonna like you. But if you know that you have a clean heart, you got a clean hands, it's very easy to just keep on pursuing, achieving, and then watching those same people that talk bad about you actually start jumping on that bandwagon.
Well,
so,
it's hurtful too, though. At the same time, it's not very easy.
It is. It is.
Man, there's no way that people don't like you guys.
You would be surprised. You would be surprised, because you got people that say that the stuff Brian does in the industry. Brian has always been the person that looks ahead. Brian is never just, okay, I want to run a show with this and that. Brian looks at the lights and the curtains, and Brian is all about the athletes. And a lot of promoters feel like, you can make more money if you just stop investing so much into the athletes, if you stop putting so much into the quality of the show. If you just got the numbers, you make a ton of money, and that's not what Brian is all about, coming from a former competitor. A lot of people have said that my style is a little too over the top, or I'm too much into the showmanship, and I'm like, listen, it's a show. Nobody wants to hear a monotone guy. They want to be entertained the whole time that they're there, whether they spend $60 on a ticket or $120 for the VIP ticket. At the end of the day, they come to be entertained. What we try to do is we try to give everybody an outlet, a chance to promote themselves themselves, to promote what they're all about, to brand themselves as something bigger than just a picture. Now, speaking of that, okay,
we actually encourage that.
Actually, yeah, absolutely. We encourage people taking it beyond the stage and doing something and learning something about themselves. And then you got the naysayers who's like, who do they think they are? Blah, 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 blah. Brian says it's hurtful. Bricks honestly says, I don't care. You know what I mean? You've never shook my hand. You've never broke bread with me. You've never ate a meal with me. Anything bad you have to say about me, I really don't care. You know what I mean? But
you have to try not to care. You have to try. But sometimes, you know, sometimes when you work so hard.
Of course. Of course. All right. Now, hold on, James. I apologize. Speaking of hard work, I know that you just got a major endorsement. I have a future WBFF Pro, Ian Davio, who actually just landed another major endorsement. And here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to let you talk to Ian. Ian's going to talk to you, but we're going to do that right after this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Body Shop on FTNS. I have James Ellis, Ian Davio. When we come back, you're going to find out some interesting tidbits. Stay tuned.
It's time for a fitness break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on FTNS.
Hey fitness fans, Andre Brooks Sinclair here, host of The Body Shop, inviting you to the 14th annual FitnessAtlantic.com event taking place at the Oakdale Theater on April 14th. Now, I have a special friend that's going to tell you a little bit more about it.
Hey boys and girls, your old pal Tony Horton here, and guess what? I am coming to Connecticut. That's right, I'm going to be there. I got a cheat sheet. Nope, that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, I'm going to be there April 14th, 2012. That's this year. Can you believe it? 2012. I'm going to be there for two great workouts. There's going to be a warrior workout and a striver's workout, so two different levels. You can come to one or you can come to both. One's at 10 and one's at 3 p.m. All right, so I want to see you there. Also, we're going to do photographs. We're going to do autographs. Also, book signing. My book, Bring It's going to be there. If you don't have it already, what is wrong? You should get it, and I will sign it. All right? Also, we'll have a discussion about health and fitness and wellness and food and diet. It's all going to happen. There's lots of stories, lots of laughs. It's going to be at the Oakdale Theater in Wallingford, Connecticut. So there you go. That's all you need to know. It's going to be a blast. I want you to be there, and I want you to bring it again.
It's here, the newest weapon in post-workout recovery nutrition. This natural and organic all-in-one formula delivers the ammunition your body needs to advance on your battlefield and beyond. Introducing Nutrition's Basic Training. Protein, branched-chain amino acids, vitamins, minerals, good fats, and enzymes with no artificial sugars, colors, or flavors. Go to www.amnutritionhealth.com and join the ranks of the supplement revolution. Beyond protein, the body's ammunition, Nutrition.
World's first fitness radio will keep you moving. FTNS, 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 FTNS.
Hi, I'm Amy Hall, host of The Green Gate. What are you hungry for? Do you need to rebalance your plate? Join us as we talk about whole, sustainable food, awesome recipes, and all the other things that nourish us. Now is the time to change your relationship with food and get back to the simple, delicious, nutritious basics. The Green Gate, your doorway to great food and healthy living. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on FTNS.
Need FTNS on the go? There's an app for that. Download the FTNS app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch now. FTNS, world's first fitness radio, will keep you moving. Welcome back to FTNS, world's first fitness radio. Enjoy the show.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Body Shop. I am your host, Bricks. My in-studio co-host is Mr. Brian Cannone.
Mr. Bricks.
Yes, sir. Brian,
yeah.
You know what? I love you. You know you my agent. You my boy in the whole nine, man. But yeah, you will never DJ my wedding playing that type of nonsense, all right? In the studio with me, I have future WBFF Pro, Mr. Ian Davio.
How you doing?
Devo, I apologize. Look, I just messed up your name because Brian got me laughing over here. And on the line, ladies and gentlemen, I have the world champion, WBFF male model, James Ellis. James, welcome back to the Body Shop.
Yo, yo.
There you go, baby boy. All right, now, James, before the break, I mentioned that you had just landed a major endorsement deal, and that is with Magnum Nutrition.
That's right.
Okay. How did that come about?
Magnum Nutraceuticals, they actually had contacted me. They had been seeing me in Status Fitness magazine a lot, actually, and which was huge blessing because I've shot with with Rodney and David several times, and I actually had a great photo shoot at the WBFF, and they had published some of that stuff, and so they contacted me as a result of the photos. Marcus from Magnum got a hold of Rodney and said, "Hey, who is this guy?" And so, that's kind of how it all started, and Rodney kind of connected us from there. But, that just goes to show that, you could take more from, doing a show, and I can't say this enough. If you don't win the show, you can take more from the show than a trophy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Go there, and you need to not only have a great time, because that's what I went there and did. I had a great time. I had so many laughs like I'm having on the show right now, and met some great people. I set up some photo shoots before I went, and if you don't go there and set up photo shoots, then you've lost half of what you can gain from it. Mm-hmm. So that's really how it came about is through and not only shooting with these companies, but creating a relationship with these magazines. And I talk to David and Rodney all the time. I love those guys. So,
right.
That's kind of how that came about, honestly.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Speaking of that, I'd like to give a very special shout out to a very good friend of mine, David Ford, who actually shoots for Status magazine. Dave's a great photographer. Now, James, I would be remiss if I didn't let a few of the fans actually talk to you and, find out some things about you, some maybe you can give them a few tips. So I reached out to a friend of mine, Ian Davio, and, he just wants to pick your brain and possibly learn from the champ. So, Ian, go ahead.
James, nice to meet you, first off.
Yeah, great to meet you, man. I've seen some of your photos, bro. You're ripped up, man.
I'm working on it. Well, you know what? Obviously, you're top notch. I mean, I follow you. Since you really stepped on stage, and obviously since your win. I'm not going to ask you what I really want to ask you because I don't want you to share your secrets with everybody.
Oh, wait a minute. No. You must have missed the intro.
All right.
Okay? Because James knows coming on to the Body Shop, James going to have to give up a couple of secrets.
All right.
So you ask James what you need to ask him.
All right, James. As far as when you're cutting up, the last week or two, for yourself, because obviously everybody's different, but what works for you in getting that last tweak in before you get on stage?
Well, honestly, for me, the genius behind my plan, and I'll never, I can't say it enough, is my diet and training coach, Michael Orr. Mm-hmm. This dude, he just knows his stuff. I mean, he studied the science of dieting, and I can't thank him enough because that's what it came down to. He was a guy that I was able to send photos to in those final days, and say, dude, what do I need to do? Like, I need to tighten this up. I need to do that. I'll share a few things.
Mm-hmm. I
want to be careful because, this is actually his stuff, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not the genius when it comes to dieting. Okay. I'm the genius when it comes to working out and knowing how to tweak things in the gym.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat in that department.
Yeah. Yep, and some of the things that he had me doing, I did some carb cycling, and he had a calculation that he did based on what he believed my show weight was going to be. And the best advice I could give you is to go to him first of all.
Yeah.
And then when it came down to showtime, I was doing obviously I'm sure you've heard of loading your water and depleting your water coming up to show, and then when you're loading your water, you're carb depleting, and then when you deplete your water, you start to carb load.
Right.
so those things were great. He also had me doing sodium loading and sodium depleting. It's all manipulation with your water and your sodium. And so, I mean, the stuff that he had just had my head spinning, but it didn't even matter. I didn't understand it, but I had to lean on him and trust him because I knew that, he is an INDA bodybuilder. He's a natural bodybuilder, so he's done it, and I've seen his results. So I just had to, it was really a thing of just trusting this guy the whole way through and not questioning anything he said. And that's what really helped me. And when it came down to, he even had one of the secrets I will share that I thought was incredible, and every single guy in the locker room, all the pros were like, "What the heck are you eating?" And this is one of his secrets was, and I hope Michael doesn't mind me sharing because I know he's listening now. But it was cherry pie filling.
What?
It's supposed to suck your skin in. It's supposed to tighten your skin, and it sucks in that last bit of water. And you only take it if you think you need to tighten up a little bit. And so, dude, I was having a dessert before I went out on that.
Yeah.
Some rice cakes, and I'm spreading cherry pie filling on there, and these fellas are like, dude, what are you doing? Are you nuts? And I'm like, no, I'm not, man. I got a secret, so I can guarantee you next year in the WBFF locker room, everybody's going to be mounting.
Including myself.
Right here, right now, James Ellis started that, all right? Thank my boy to James Ellis if you see cherry pie filling.
Absolutely.
There we go. Okay, so we got cherry pie filling. I'll tell you what Bricks is going to do. If I ever come out of retirement, I'm going to have sweet potato pie filling. And, we're going to try to make this thing happen. Now, when you mentioned Michael Orr, all right, let's make sure people understand who we're talking about. We're talking about the bodybuilder and not the guy from, the Sandra Bullock movie, The Blind Side. All right? That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't want you going up there and you going on NFL.com, you trying to find Michael Orr because he doesn't know what James Ellis knows. He doesn't know what Ian knows. And, I'm actually looking at a picture of Mike. And I mean, this guy is shredded, man. He got incredible shoulders. His bicep peaks are just simply amazing. Now, James, you mentioned before that you actually did a couple of bodybuilding shows, and then you kind of stepped away from it, and then you decided to get into like the muscle side. The modeling side of the industry. Was it at all difficult for you to take the advice from a competitive bodybuilder, knowing that being a male model for the WBFF, that they don't want you to come in, big and shredded like a typical bodybuilder?
It really honestly wasn't. It wasn't hard for me at all because of what Michael knows, and he trains people. He puts people on diets that are way overweight. He puts people on diets that are, the skinny guys or whatever that want to gain weight. He puts people. He specifically designs diets for people's training if they're going to compete in fitness. Women's bikini, men's bodybuilding, men's fitness. Like, he knows how to do the diets for everybody, and so it wasn't hard for me at all. I simply had to show him pictures of your Rob Riches and your Obi Obitiki and say, this is the look that I need to have because Rob won it 2 years before me. Obi won it last year.
Right.
This is the look I'm looking for. And he said, cool, let's do it. He's like, this will put you in at about such and such a weight. I think you're going to compete at this weight. And so we're going to design your diet around that specific weight.
James.
So it wasn't at all hard for me.
Can I ask you what you weighed on the stage when you won?
No, you can't.
See, the only one that's going to get that answer is Bricks, man. I try to tell you that. You got to be the host of the show.
I came down from 186 pounds to I stepped on stage at 170 or 167.
Wow.
And a half pounds.
Wow.
So, and I was at about 3% body fat. So I went from about 6% to 7% when I was 186 to about 3% when I was on stage.
Ooh. Okay, that type of drop for people who are trying to figure this thing out is amazing because
I did that within 3 weeks. Just like, you know.
Okay, let me, for the people that's listening to the Body Shop who may not understand what the percentages that you're talking about means. Okay, what's acceptable for a male, body fat wise, is anywhere from 14 to roughly 17, maybe 18% body fat. That's the average, okay? When you're at 14% body fat, what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is if you was to actually take your shirt off, you would be able to roughly see your top 2 abs, maybe see the bottom, like right under that, and possibly have a rough outline of your abs, but in no way, shape, or form would you have a six-pack. No. Once you get under 10%, and you're looking at about anywhere from 8 to 6%, that is where most bodybuilders actually step on stage at. Anything below that is considered like, you know, top of the line. Okay,
like you take your shirt off and be like, that guy won.
Yeah, basically. You know, now when you start seeing people under 6% body fat, you're talking 5, 4, and even 3%. I mean,
you know, a problem though with fitness models when they drop that low is they lose their face.
Absolutely,
like they get sunken in.
Right. Well, that's because a lot of them, what they do for the fitness models is that they train like a fitness model and they look great. And then the last 2 weeks, for whatever reason, they listen to the guy who tells them, hey, drop your water, go on a carb depletion, and, you know, start taking all types of like diuretics and, you know, water pills and all that crap. And it actually makes them look, you know, withdrawn. The face is sunk in, and people do only what works for you. All right. If you're looking good going into the show, use the mirror, stay away from the scale, because nobody cares what you actually weigh once you're on that stage. You know, you got a champ like James who says he was 167. I mean, I eat that in a week. You know what I mean? Did you guys ever see Rocky 3? when Hulk Hogan was in the ring, he was like, how much does he eat? He goes, about 202 pounds. 167 pounds. I mean, wow, James, that's simply amazing. All right, what's next for James Ellis?
What's next for me? Well, first I want to tell you, because you brought up diuretics. If I lose your signal, I just...
We'll call you back. Don't worry about it.
Because I pulled off the road, and because I didn't want to go under this bridge up here, because I'm afraid I'll lose you guys.
Okay.
And then a cop pulled up behind me, so I'm like, okay. I'm okay. So,
tell the cop you're on the radio with bricks, I'll give him a shout out. That's what you do.
Exactly. So I wanted to say another cool thing about Michael is he said, I don't want you to take any diuretics. I didn't take any diuretics. No tiraxetone, none of that. I stayed away from all the diuretics. So, you know, I don't recommend that either, because you will likely get that sunken in face and things like that. You know, I was able to maintain the muscle mass all the way through, you know, the show. Like, I didn't lose a lot of muscle with the program I was on. So that's what you need to get, is a guy that's going to back your diet. And what's next for me, that's the perfect transition for me. I just went into business with my diet training coach.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, I'll be the first one to admit, I don't know how to diet. Everything I know, I have learned from him. So, you know, I was like, what better thing than to go into diet with this genius? I mean, he really is. And so we just started our own company where we will train, and we'll put anybody on a training and diet program, and wherever they are in life. And it's you know, healthy dieting, and it's called scientific body sculpting. So that's the name of our company, Scientific Body Sculpting. So because of this radio show, we pushed things ahead and we rushed things because we wanted to have something out, because we weren't quite ready to push it out. But we created a Facebook fan page specifically for this show to get it out there right away. So if you go to Facebook.com, it's Facebook.com/Scientific Body Sculpting.
Nice.
So that's what's next for me. I think that's what it takes, you know, for us fellas in the business. You know, you see Obi, he's doing things. You know, he's pushing. You know, he's trying to push his name to the next level. That's what you got to do in this business if you want to have a name. You know, many years down the road. Like, what's my 5-year plan? Am I going to be the WBFF Pro Champion in 5 years? I'm not so sure about that. So, you know, it's time to go to the next level and start to create something with the name, you know?
Absolutely.
So, and that's what Jay Cutler did. You know, I was with Jay Cutler for Fitness DTC for quite some time. You know, we had that running together, and you know, so you got to do something with your name. You got to go to the next level, and that's what I would recommend to anybody in the business. You know, it's not all about the fitness covers. You know, those only last for as long as they're on the shelf for about a month.
Perfectly stated. Exactly. Absolutely.
People forget who was on the cover last month. You know, of course you can keep them and you can show them to your grandchildren, but you know, who was on the cover of Must-Form Fitness last November?
That was Andre Brick Sinclair. That was me, brother. That was me.
Might as well say that.
Might as well say it because, you know, okay, what James said is the same thing me and Brian have been preaching for over a year while being on this radio show, and something we've been preaching for the past 11 years since me and Brian have actually been friends. And that is, at the end of the day, no one cares about those things. You know, it's how are you going to help somebody else, and how are you possibly going to brand yourself?
Yeah, you know, it's marketing purposes. It's good to do. It's awesome to have. It's good exposure, but if you don't have exposure with something on the back end, then what's the sense of the exposure?
Completely agree. Completely agree. Now, James, with your company coming out, does that mean that you will or you won't be defending your title in September?
Well, that right now is up for grabs. I'm debating, and I hate to say that. I'd like to be able to say 100% I am.
Right.
The other thing I didn't mention to you is that I'm also interning at my church.
Oh, nice.
So there's a chance. I'm looking to the future because I want to have some residual income through this company, because I'll be honest with you, you don't step on staff at a church because you want to make money.
That is very true.
You step on staff at a church because you want to see lives come to Christ, and there's not necessarily money in that. You know, you're working for very little, and you're working long hours. I spend all weekend at my church. I spend Saturday night helping to lead our group called Alpha Course. You know, I spend all day Sunday, 3 of our 4 services at church as director of the prayer team. You know, praying with people up front that accept Christ, the people that need prayer. So that's where, you know, I believe, you know, probably this year yet. I mean, right now I'm interning, and I'll probably do either a half year or a year of interning. But I believe possibly this year I'll end up on staff at my church. And that's ultimately, you know, where I see myself, part-time staff, and maybe, you know, continuing to keep a foot in the fitness industry. So a lot of that depends on, I got to be honest with you, if God wants me to compete, I will compete. If the Lord leads me to compete, I will compete. And it also is going to depend on how willing my church is to let me leave for a weekend when I have so many responsibilities on the weekend.
Right.
So as a leader of Alpha Course, you need to be there. Like, your group is relying on you.
Absolutely.
So I would like to be able to say, yes, I'm defending my title, but a lot has changed since late August last year. And I love the WBFF. I completely love the WBFF, and I can't say enough about them. And I'm hoping to be able to go to the Fitness Atlantic and be able to slip away. And because right now I'm not so engulfed that I couldn't necessarily slip away.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll tell you what we'll do right here, James, okay? You about to hear it live, baby, live from Bricks, all right? Right now, tuning in at 135,300 people. They listen to the sound of my voice, listen to the sound of your voice. I am going to hold a ticket for you at will call. All right? I'm going to hold a ticket for you at will call for the Fitness Atlantic event, which takes place April 14th, 2012 at the Oakdale Theater. Not only would I hold you a ticket so you can come and watch the show, I'm going to have a backstage pass for you. All right? I want you to come out, pass out some trophies. I want you to shake hands with the people backstage. I want you to love on the people backstage. And if anybody is back there and they're in need of prayer, then by all means, I want you to be that spiritual guidance and consultant for them. So that's what I'm going to do for James Ellis.
You're going to do that?
I'm going to do that. What do you mean, is that what I'm going to do? Okay, hold on.
How about the limo?
My business partner. Listen.
How about the helicopter from the airport?
Jesus never traveled in a limo, so James ain't going to travel in a limo.
I need that private jet.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, baby.
Taking it to the next level.
I'm going to bring you, I'm going to send two jets for you. One is called Pete, the other one is called Repeat. Put them on your feet, follow it that way right there. That's how we going to do it.
Great.
Listen, like I said, man, we're here to educate, but we're also here to entertain. You know what I mean? Church is not the place where fun goes to die. You know, you got to be able to laugh at yourself and laugh with your fans. You know.
No, but I'm really serious. I want a G6.
You want a G6? Hey,
all jokes aside.
no problem. I'll have the single there for you, so when you come in there, you can play the song like a G6.
Oh.
I got it for you.
There you go.
Hey James, are you going into the seminary or no?
That's not at this point in time,
Okay.
but there's a high chance of that. But again, it's just all those are things I'm praying about, and I'm just going to let the Lord guide me.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's. Yeah, I'm going to see where this internship takes me first.
Nice.
So, I'm learning a lot about the church right now, for sure.
Okay.
So, and I'm learning about the highs and lows, and you know, I got to be honest with you, I love it. You know, I really do.
Absolutely. Okay, now James, I gotta ask this question. You know, the people want to know. They need to know this question. One is, with all of your successes in this industry, how did you go about landing your first magazine cover? And the back part to that is, what advice would you give to somebody who is interested in possibly landing a magazine cover?
Well, this is actually kind of funny, because the first cover that I landed, I think, if I remember right, my manager had replied to an ad. Renee Watrova had replied to an ad on Craigslist to shoot a cover.
Wow.
The photographer that shoots covers, and so that's actually how the first one had happened, and. You know, it was kind of a shocker. You know, I ended up getting the cover, and it wasn't my favorite cover ever. Probably not one that I necessarily want to mount on my wall. But
okay.
You know, I'm not going to mention the magazine or anything like that. But, that was back in like September of 2007, and I was kind of still in that soft bodybuilding mode look. But later on down the road, you know, I ended up landing one. You know, through Robert Reeve, you know, I landed a couple of the covers of Lindbergh Nutrition and Nutrition Express, and then my first very favorite one up to that point was then my cover with Men's Workout that James Ellis had shot. So, and then just kind of from there, you know, it's like you just start to get that. You know, that credibility, and you start to get photographers seeking you out and seeing that you have done work, and magazines have, you know, figured that you're worthy enough to grace their cover, and so it got a little bit easier as time went on. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you find that sometimes people may confuse your name with Jason Ellis's name?
Oh man. And I'm laughing right now because I know that Renee and Noel are cracking up as we speak. Renee helps me with my email because I get behind, and all too often people will be like, Jason, we're totally ready to book you. And it's like, I'm telling you, people that have known me, you know, like for a while, will still mess up and say Jason or call me Jason to my face, and I'm like, you know, no, I'm not Jason, but you know, this is great, you know. So eventually, hopefully, my name is bigger than Jason Ellis. There's no offense to Jason, because I love the guy.
Right.
He's I call him my brother, and you know, he's actually my brother in Christ, you know, and so it's you know, hopefully eventually my name makes it bigger than his, and then people will start calling him James.
I like that right there. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's another James Ellis
there was
from
another
UK.
James Ellis, right?
A guy from UK that might do the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a ripped up dude.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Yeah. Did he went over? He went over there, right?
Is it this weekend he's competing?
I believe it's this weekend. Yeah.
Yep.
It's this weekend. I had just literally got interviewed about the guy.
Right.
At Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I've got some photos of him. So he's looking to be, you know, a possible champ over there. I heard he's just shacked up, shredded. So that's awesome.
Nice.
He's going to have to change his name.
I already told him that.
You already told him that, right?
Yeah.
Tell him, baby, there's only one. There's only one originator.
Number 2.
Number 2. All right, Ian, is there anything that you want to ask James, being that you followed, you know, his career? Right now, you have the opportunity to talk to him live, baby. Live. I'm talking 135,000 people listening to both you and him. Let's go. Let's get some banter back and forth.
I just want to know what kind of what you're training like for the most part. I'm assuming it varies depending on what you're prepping for or not prepping for. But I'm curious to what your favorite type of style of workouts are.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's honestly, it comes down to switching it up a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, I primarily like hypertrophy training. I go hypertrophy, kind of breaking in a little bit to strength training.
Yeah.
So like I'm working on sets of like 12, 10, 8 in a typical workout, which I do switch up. But you know, my days are usually like you got your you know, day 1 like a back and biceps, day 2 is a chest and tris, you know, day 3 is a solid leg day, and then I go 4 is my shoulders day, and then day 5 would be a bis and tris day. That was my typical training, you know, before I started working with Michael Oren, and Michael goes into some really, really intense training. And he's designed a whole thing of his own called S&M training, which, you know, a lot of people will be hearing about as we come out with this website. But I'm really excited about his because my muscle maturity went ridiculous. Even since the WBFF, my muscle maturity has come a long, long way just by doing his diet and training programs. But, you know, one thing that I do recommend is that I've always done is I would do a hypertrophy style training for a couple months, and eventually if you keep doing that, you're going to quit getting results. So I would go to strength training. You know, I would jump down to 864 for a couple weeks, and then go back to hypertrophy training for a couple months, and then go to an endurance training because eventually your endurance is going to get shot.
Right.
So I do endurance training for a couple weeks, which is like 20, 18, 15, and then back to hypertrophy. And every 6 months I take a week off, unless I need to, but usually a week off. So, you know, then you're getting 2 weeks off a year. And but that's what I recommend. You don't want to stick to the same thing for too long because your body will get used to it. And in every workout, every week, I'm trying to switch things up. You know, I'll start with incline bench 1 week, but the next week I'm going to start with a flat bench or a decline.
Right.
So, you know, you really want to switch it up a lot, but your focus, you want to be on what your weakness is. If you have a weak upper chest, you know, you may do like 3 or 4 weeks in a row of incline first.
Right.
You know, but as you start to balance out, you switch it up. So.
Exactly. All right. I can see exactly the effects of that. That's similar to something I do now. Obviously, I don't have the secrets that Mike gave you, but I might be seeking them out very quickly. I might be seeking them
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
I mean, Mike's already blowing up with messages, emails, and stuff like that since we started this. Just in the last week, I've really just started to push this, and he's getting blown up with messages, and people are just really excited to work with him. And you know, I talked to Michael before the show, and he told me that anybody that comes to him and says, I heard James Ellis on the radio show, that he's going to give him 20% off of his price. And the price is on the website. So, you know, hey, I got to take advantage of this marketing, right?
Absolutely.
You absolutely do.
But yes, you just go to Scientific Body Sculpting, our Facebook fan page, and our Facebook business page. You know, like us and send a message to him. You know, write a message on our page. Hey, I'd be interested in getting a diet from you. And we have several different styles of diets depending on what your goals are. That he's written out in great detail what you're going to get out of it. So
absolutely
perfect, James. I appreciate that.
Right.
No problem.
Now, James, believe it or not, our hour is almost coming to an end. So, yeah, man. Yeah, listen, man. You were a great guest, you know, and this is just what we do. So we would love to have you back on for part 2 if that's at all possible.
I would love to come back for part 2.
Maybe bring that guy on.
There it is.
His partner on.
Which one?
His partner.
Oh, Michael?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, James. You extend the offer over to Michael as well.
Okay, I would love to have Michael on, and you know you're gonna get filled out with a whole lot of wisdom. So I highly recommend to let people know ahead of time to get the pen and paper.
Absolutely.
And we'll be good to go. You know, we might even put a workout in on this show. You know.
Why not? Why not? All right, James. Final question for you, buddy. Is there anybody out there that you would like to thank?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, thank the Lord. I mean, that's first and foremost. But you know, a huge thanks to Renee, my manager, for being with me since I started in the business clear back in 2005. You know, she's been the reason, honestly, that I booked the work that I booked. I mean, she's been so incredible. One of those people that when you don't believe in yourself, she believes in you.
Right.
And quite honestly, I think some days I think she knows me better than I know myself. So, you know, so thanks to her, thanks to Noelle for being with me from the beginning. Thanks to Marcus and Bert from Magnum, you know, for signing me, and to Rodney and David from Status Fitness for you know, just for making that connection and being such incredible people for me in the business, just networking. And obviously James Ellis, who I booked 5 covers with, and actually 6 coming out soon. I can't tell you what magazine, but I
sure you can. You tell me off the air. That's what you do. Tell me off the air.
Yeah. And then obviously my family, you know, mom and dad, and just everybody who they've supported me in my career that not most people go after. So they've been supportive of me, and my last ones are, you know, my mentor Anthony Powell from my church, my accountability partner Chris Lee, and just my church in general, Oasis LA, just incredible church. So yeah, thanks for letting me do it, and thanks to you guys.
There we go. I appreciate that, baby. I appreciate that.
You guys, I love you guys, and I like you on my Facebook page, so everybody that's listening to the show better like you as well.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it there, right there from a pro himself, WBFF male model, James Ellis. Now, James, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your traveling schedule, calling into the body shop, calling into the FTNS studios. We really appreciate it. We thank you so much for all that you do. I want to tell you that my prayer for you is that God blesses the work of your hands. And to all the fans out there that's listening, I want to leave you guys with this right here. Greatness is already within you. All you have to do is lay the BS down, step over the haters, keep God first, and everything else will fall into place. Hey, yo, this is Bricks. I'm signing off for James Ellis. I'm signing off for Ian Davio, Brian Cannone, super producer Big Sean. We got to go. I see you when I see you.